Okay, here we are, a day in the life. You get to be with me as I drive across town. I am noticeably leaving one hand on there, but let's review. I have a fresh manicure, and that's so fancy. And that's Gina. Gina loves to do my nails, but she is kind of annoyed because they take so long. And so she's always looking up the clock to go like, how much is it? Because it takes an hour and a half to do them. And she really wants, to get to the next person because she is commission only. So, it has to be worth her while. But they are looking fancy. And I'm on my way to Writer's Retreat, and I'm hosting, bringing everyone down to the inn. And one of my dear friends, Jared, is in Minnesota, in a town not that far from here, because his dad's in hospice, and I love his parents. So I actually might get to go see his dad before he passes. I would really like that. And we'll see. I got to get everybody checked in today. And, it's a 2-hour drive. I'm going to get my mom right now because she's coming to the Writer's Retreat. And I don't know what she's working on, but again, I'm hoping. My mom is such a good writer, and she made a living writing, and she used to be one of the VPs at this big bookstore called Borders, and she worked for another publishing firm that I really like called Llewellyn, and so and she's just a great writer. But again, she's written for other people, and hasn't really put her memoir of work together, and that is my ask of her, because I can't do that. And so she's 82, and so she has writing for at least 60 years, and it's all in a box, of which I moved lately. So I'm going to get Karen Kay. She is fragile as glass. She does not have a lot of mobility, and we just are so careful with her because we just don't want anything to happen to her. And so we did a test run at another retreat I was hosting, and the retreat that we were hosting at, we kind of figured out what wasn't working and so forth, and I learned a lot. But my mom hadn't actually left the house other than to have some surgery. She hadn't slept over since I had taken her the last time, which was before her husband passed away. So it was 3 years, and we got a hotel at that time, and it's a lot of work. So, getting someone who is very immobile around in the world, it's just not a dash and go. And my mom just was feeling, she really notices that her pace is so much slower than anyone else. And so it's tough to be, a turtle in like a world of jackrabbits. And I'm a jackrabbit, so I really have to redo my mind and think about how, slow it down, just slow it down, just slow it down. But I also just can't have anyone bump her, because she will fall and break like glass. So you just want to hide her, but she misses the world. She misses being out in the world. So I'm on my way to get my mom. We have a full house for the retreat. It's 5 days, and we have lots of different writers. We also have some traveling nurses that are guests in the hotel as well, in the inn. Remember, I went in on an inn with my friend Marge, and one of the reasons that we're hosting a retreat is, one, so we can learn how to do them, because it's the most economical for the inn itself to put together a retreat. And so this is my second retreat in a month, and part of that is that I just needed I also needed we're going to refinance here coming up. That the original deal we met with the small town bank will will have to be renegotiated here in like, I don't know, 7 months maybe. So we have to renegotiate that note. So we had a lot to do in Marge's life, in our kind of thing. So I wanted to make sure there was revenue. So that's part of what we're doing is, making sure we have a full house for almost a week. And on the weekends, it kind of sells itself. And as the weather gets nice, the inn does have much more going on. But those weekdays, we have to really work at filling. And so Marge has moved down there now. She sold her condo, and that also freed up a lot for her because she's able to be in a smaller space. She can manage the inn. She can do all the small things that need to be done. But it just helped her focus, clear out some of the other debt, and she's been focusing on another project. Now, Marge and I have done 6 projects together, and they're going well. I mean, that we have 3 that are live right now. So she has the lighting company. She has the farm that is also got a sniff spot on it. And our original idea for that wasn't that, but we couldn't get zoning. And her kids live on that farm now. And we also have the lighting companies. All of its inventory and offices are in there. So it worked out really well. Really well. And it's a beautiful space. I mean, Marge is also a realtor, so she has lots of skills. And we were exploring a different subject, which is how we found this in. And Marge was like, because we really think that there's I think we're going to go back to multi-generational or just different types of housing where you have many people living in a house, kind of like a boarding house. But so we were exploring properties like that, and we came across this inn, and this inn was in distress financially, that it was damaged, and same with the farm. The farm had a lot of distressed issues in it, and it took 2 years to close that farm. And this took a lot of time to get closed. So because we had time, it wasn't bad. And Marge understands numbers, and she understands the financing and so forth. So she is the only person that I could do those projects with. So we have our first year under the belt. We did not die. We learned a lot of things. How much experience did we have in innkeeping? 0. But Marge had done some Airbnb stuff, so she'd already been a super host on other properties. So she had more experience than I did. But, how much money did we waste learning stuff? Plenty. And it really is around that booking system for a larger 10-room inn is a lot different than just a single one house. It's a lot different. I mean, they have nothing in common. So the inn is going to be kind of great. I'm hoping I'm going to get to see my friend Jared. I'm hoping actually that I have enough time, maybe after breakfast tomorrow, to run over and see his dad. But I would also really like for him or his mom to come over to the inn, and whether it's get to stay with their friends or something. I think that's a nice thing that I can do. They're in a town that's maybe, 40 minutes away from the inn, so it's not insurmountable. So this morning, I am running 29 minutes behind schedule, which isn't bad, but I had all of this stuff in my mind of what I wanted to get done before I left. And one of the things that I wanted to get done was get some things packed for our Amish house cleaner at the inn. So Mary is just fantastic. she is the linchpin of magic, because she can clean that place to professionally, to spec, beautifully. And she loves that job, and I love her so much. She's age 70, and you wouldn't know it, but her husband has passed away a few years ago. Mary is so interesting. She had 14 children, and she's very proud of herself. She has her own buggy, and there are things that she's very proud of. And so she invited me into her house, which is a really big deal, and we kind of talked about the way that she sews, and just she has a lot of things that I like to do. And so we both like letter writing. She writes letters to her sisters, and she likes hand sewing. I really like hand sewing. When I was young, I did a lot of embroidery. And so, hand sewing is very methodical and slow. And her other sister, who does quilts, Amish quilts are a big deal. So her other sister will have her hand stitch the final stitching on a quilt. But that hand stitching, you have to have it out on this big loom, and it takes up the whole room. So she truly has, like, what you would have called kind of your living room is a king size loom that's stretched out, and then she has her needles there so she can just sew as it goes. And it's impressive. And you also, when you're hand sewing, to see the stitch, it's also that they all have to be, stylistically, they all have to be the same size. So when you see that stitch, sometimes you can tell who did it, because they, like a painter that paints a certain way, like a brush stroke, a needle height, right? Like, how often do you come in and out? That needle height is very similar. So that your hand stitching has the same artistic value that a brush stroke would. They really are artistically great. So I really enjoy Mary's stitching. She really does have just a natural cadence. So I'm going to get to see Mary. So I had to get a lot of stuff ready for Mary, because I've been collecting jars for her. And jars that, she can sell. And what she'll do is all the jars that match, she'll sell at the farmer's market, and all the jars that are kind of any which way, she'll save for herself. So she'll take any canning jar. And canning jars are expensive, and she sells so many of them. I mean, Mary sells thousands. Between all of her family, they all can. I mean, this is their main income. And so she puts a lot up to try to sell. And we sell them to our guests at the inn, and they love them. We just had somebody put in a huge order, I think, and a huge order for us would be 12 or 20. But I think they may have ordered 20 of her peaches. And she does a great job on those canned peaches. And sometimes it's not just that she did a good job, it's that the peaches are great. And they also grow to can. So they have real specific styles of things that they're growing, or that they're canning for, because they're canning to eat. So she does, sauerkraut, she does horseradish, she does things that she actually cooks with. Okay, so I'm pulling up to my mom's, and so that's going to be the end of my day today. So I'm out of the office for the next week, and then I'm back to the regular hubbub of what's going on. And so that's a day in the life. My husband is watching the dog. And, I forgot to tell you about my new friends from the dog park. They are so fun. I'll probably put that in another one. So I'll do one from the inn. And yeah, so I'm going to go in, see my mom, and get her all situated. It'll be great. All right, that's a day in the life.